非常的累的时候，我就会呢用弹这个吉他了。Love me tender, love me true, never let me
go.Hello and welcome to Enjoy English School.
欢迎来到 Enjoy 英语学院。
I'm Stevie.
And I'm Laurie.
Today, we are talking about our entertainment lesson. And this one is pretty interesting. Our title is Cruella. Now, Cruella Deville is a very famous villain. A very famous bad guy, but she's a bad lady.
对。
Okay. From a Disney movie that you've all seen, I'm sure, or at least heard of, 101 Dalmatians. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about Cruella Deville and a movie that they have done about Cruella Deville.
没错，所以呢，今天来到了影视娱乐的单元，我们要来看到的文章中文的标题是时尚恶女库伊拉哦，就是刚刚呢这个Stevie 老师念的那个名字的这个中文库伊拉。那么呢，讲到说呢，这部大家都看过或者是听过的电影《101忠狗》里头最著名的反派女角就是她了。所以今天我们要来看看她以及关于她的一部新电影。
Okay, we're starting out looking at the first sentence. Originally planned for release in late 2020, the Disney film Cruella will finally hit theaters this month. Okay, so we're starting out saying the original plan, all right? In the beginning, all right, originally, this movie, they were planning to release it in late 2020, but there's a pandemic, itching, right? So it's coming out in theaters this month, finally. What are we talking about? The Disney film Cruella.
对。所以呢，我们首先来看到第一句就讲到说了，原定规划、原定计划要呢，在这个2020年底上映的这个迪士尼电影呢，库伊拉它呢将终于这里的 finally 是终于要 hit theaters， 这里的 hit 不是打这边指的是要这个在电影院上映了到达电影院，所以要在电影院上映了，什么时间点呢？在本月份。
The film, this movie, will explore the background of one of Disney's most famous villains, one of Disney's most famous bad guys or bad girls, Cruella Deville. Okay, when we say it's going to explore, this is a story about her background. We're going to explore it. We're going to learn more about Cruella Deville.
没错，所以呢，这部片呢将会一探这里的 explore 我们讲说探索那你可以翻成一探，一探什么呢 ？The background 就是这个背景故事，那是谁的背景故事？所以你后面要加一个 of， 再去接那个谁但是这个谁他又不想直接把名字讲完就好，所以他又补充了一串呢，叫做迪士尼最有名的反派角色之一这里的 villains 我们讲恶徒或者我们讲反派角色都可以那么是谁呢？所以冒号的后面他终于要讲了，名字就是这个库伊拉迪维。
Yeah. The character, whose name is similar to Cruel Devil, first appeared in a 1956 children's novel named The 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith. Okay, so the character of Cruella Deville the name is similar to Cruel Devil. What does cruel mean? Cruel means mean, cold, not nice. And devil, we know devil. Well, this name, this character, first appeared in a children's book. And it wasn't a little book, it was a children's novel. So it was a little thicker book in 1956. And that novel was named or called The 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith. She wrote the book.
好，所以接下来这个句子看起来很长，但是请不要紧张啊。你可以把 the character， 然后呢，逗号到逗号中间的把它先遮住啊，就是呢这个角色，哪个角色？就是刚刚讲的这个库伊拉迪维这个角色呢，你直接跳到 first appeared 啊，首度出现在。好，所以呢，它本来的句子是这样的：这个角色首度出现在点点点点点，但是呢，这个角色他又想补充，所以他用了一个这个 whose name is similar to Cruel Devil，就是哪个角色啊？这个名字跟残酷恶魔很相近的角色。其实是这个意思。那么这个角色他首度出现在1956年由道迪·史密斯他所写的儿童故事书《101忠狗》里头首度出现。
Now, there is a phrase in the next sentence that we have seen, we've heard many times, when something is adapted into something else. And the word adapt means to change or to change and get used to,
对。
if we're talking about people. But whenever we say a book was adapted into a movie, it was changed into a movie, and they might have changed a few things that were better for the movie.
That's
more
right.
suitable. S-U-I-T-A-B-L-E. Suitable, 比较适合。
对。
Yeah. So in 1961, the story, this 101 Dalmatians, was adapted into an animated film. What's an animated film? It's a long cartoon, okay? Into an animated film by Walt Disney Studios. And later, in 1996, into a live action film with Glenn Close starring as Cruella. So this sentence seems long, but in 1961, the story was made into a cartoon movie, an animated film by Walt Disney. And then later, in 1996, it was made into a real movie, live action, meaning real people, not a cartoon. And Glenn Close, the actress, was Cruella.
没错，所以呢，接下来这一句啊，就像刚刚 Stevie 老师讲的是有点长，但是我们一样其实可以把它视为两个句子啊。第一个句子呢，就是在1961年的时候呢，这个故事啊，它被改编为由这个华特迪士尼影业集团改编为动画，这是句子的前半部啊，也就是我们说的第一个句子。那用到的是 be adapted into A was adapted into B 啊 ，A 被改编为 B。好，然后呢，逗号的后面 and later 后面是接第二个句子，在1996年的时候呢，其实一样是 the story， 然后呢 was adapted into， 可是他这个不想再重说了，所以他直接跳 into a 这样子的一个方式。那么呢，真人版的电影。然后他又再补充了怎么样的真人版电影呢？那个有着 Glenn Close 来主演、来出演就是 starring 的意思。那么库伊拉由他来主演库伊拉的这个真人版是在1996年被翻拍的，所以其实是两个句子把它合起来的。
Okay, we'll take a quick break right here, and we'll be right back with the next part of the article. Okay, looking at the next paragraph, the well-known Disney villain is a rich, heartless woman who is obsessed with animal fur products. Okay, so the well-known Disney villain. Now, we know the villain is the bad guy or the bad woman. So the well-known Disney villain is who? Cruella Deville. She is a rich, heartless woman. When we say somebody is heartless, if we say you don't have a heart, that means that you are cold, you're cruel, you don't care about anything. You don't care about people. You don't care about animals. So that's why we say she's cruel, okay? She's a rich, heartless woman who is obsessed with animal fur products. When we say somebody is obsessed with something, that means they like it so much that it's not healthy anymore. When you're obsessed with something, it means you like it so much you're a little crazy about it. Like not good crazy.
Addicted to?
Yeah.
所以呢，接下来我们来看到这一句就讲到说的the well known 是指呢这个著名的这个非常有名的谁呢？的这位迪士尼的反派角色呢是一位又有钱又残酷无情的女人所以这是前面。那么怎么样的女人，她还要补充，所以呢这里用一个 who 关系代名词来补充，接着讲到说就是 be obsessed with something 的时候，是表示你对什么东西沉迷、入迷、着迷到一种刚刚这个 Stevie 老师讲的已经有点病态的程度的这个这样子你就可以用 be obsessed with 那么我们的这位反派的女角呢，她是对什么着迷呢？对于这个动物毛皮的制品来这个整个是着迷的。
After discovering a large litter of Dalmatian puppies in her city, Cruella becomes obsessed with capturing the dogs to create a coat of Dalmatian fur. Okay, so after finding or finding out about something, a litter of Dalmatian puppies. Okay, a litter, when we talk about dogs or cats, a litter is the amount that the mama dog or mama cat had at one time. So a litter of puppies is all of the puppies that were born at the same time from one dog.
一胎。
Yeah. So after she discovered a large litter of Dalmatian puppies in her city, she becomes obsessed. Cruella becomes obsessed with capturing the dogs to make a coat of Dalmatian fur, because Dalmatian fur is white with black spots. She's like, oh, that would be a beautiful coat. I must have those dogs.
好像OK 好，所以呢，接下来他讲到说，就在他发现了他的城市里头有一大窝的这里的 a large litter of 一大窝的这个大麦町的狗宝宝之后呢 ，Cruella 他呢就整个就是沉迷于这个着迷于这里的 become obsessed with， 那么着迷于什么呢？就是要来捕捉 capture 就是捕捉的意思，捕捉这些狗狗呢来制作一件大麦町的毛皮的大衣。
All right, we're going to take one more quick break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the article. All right, looking at the next part. In the new film, set in London in the 1970s, the character is played by actress Emma Stone, who begins the story as Cruella Deville. Okay, so this is the new film that is coming out, right? So this movie, it's set in London in the 1970s. So this was young Cruella in the 1970s in London. And the character, who is playing the character now? Emma Stone. Who did we just say played Cruella? Glenn Close in the old movie from 1996. Well, in this movie, Emma Stone is a young Cruella, and her name is, at this time, is Cruella Deville. So, different name, different person. This is going to be an interesting story, I think.
That's right. 所以呢，我们接下来来看到文章的这个最后一个段落讲到说呢，在这部新片当中那么呢，本来这个是跳到 the character is played， 你可以这样子跳但是呢，同样的，因为它要补充，所以呢，怎样的这部新片呢？这部设定于在1970年代伦敦的新片，那么里头呢？这个角色那么什么角色？当然是指库伊拉这个角色呢 is played by 就是由谁来扮演这有一个被动式。那么由谁来扮演呢？由女演员 Emma Stone 来扮演的。好，那句子到这边本来是可以句点，但是它还有补充，所以逗号后面用一个关系代名词 who 来接呢？怎么样的 Emma Stone 呢？这个以 这个 Estella Deville 这个名字来展开这个故事的 Emma Stone 是由她来饰演这个库伊拉的角色的。
As the story develops, audiences will learn how a talented young woman becomes a villainess in the world of high fashion. Okay, so as the story develops, as we see, when we say develop, how would you say that in Chinese?
随着这个故事的进展
Okay. We could also say, there's another phrase that we often see when we're talking about movies and books. As the story or as the plot unfolds. Like unfolds, like opens up.
打开
Yeah,
展开
U-N-F-O-L-D, unfold. As we see the story start to unfold, as we see it happen, audiences, you and me, because we're the one watching or listening to this, we're an audience. Audiences will learn how a talented young woman becomes a villainess in the world of high fashion. So we know when she was young, she was very talented. Okay, she had a lot of talent. We could say she was gifted, G-I-F-T-E-D. She was a gifted, talented young woman. And how did she become a bad woman in the world of high fashion?
所以呢，接下来这句我们讲到 as 随着 the story 这个电影的故事，这个故事的情节呢 develops 或者是刚刚讲的 unfolds 就是呢这个随着故事情节的进展随着故事情节的开演那么呢观众们将会了解到，就是一名这个才华洋溢的年轻女性是怎么样的成为了这个高级时装界，这边我们看到的A World of High Fashion 高级时装世界里头的一名坏女人。
Fans of the original story and the live-action films won't want to miss this exciting prequel. So if you were a fan of the cartoon and the live-action movie, you won't want to miss this exciting prequel.
所以呢，接下来他讲到说了，这个 fans 其实是主词那么呢，你本来的句子可以说 fans won't want to miss， 就是粉丝们是不会想要错过什么什么的。但是他想讲是什么的粉丝，所以呢 ，fans 后面他加了一个 of， 然后呢来接 the original story 原创故事的粉丝，以及 and the live action films 以及真人版电影的粉丝，所以他把这两个补充完。然后才 won't 把它出现不会想要错过这个令人兴奋的前传。
Find out how Estella becomes the dog-nabbing criminal known as Cruella. So watch the movie to find out, to learn how Estella becomes the dog-nabbing criminal. Nab, N-A-B. This word means to steal something. So the dog-stealing criminal, the dog-nabbing criminal, who we now know as Cruella.
所以呢，最后他讲了，他说来了解一下，来发现一下呢，就是如何这个 Estella 她是怎么样的来成为了一名我们所知道 Cruella 这样子的一个这个抓狗或者是偷狗的这个罪犯吧。
All right, that's all the time we have, but we're going to come back and review a word really quickly. Okay, I want to talk really quickly about a word. We said that this movie, this story was a prequel. Well, often we hear about movies being a sequel. S-E-Q-U-E-L. A sequel means the story continues. It's the second part or the next part. Well, a prequel, P-R-E, means before.
That's right.
So whenever we see prequel, then we know that it's something about the story before the story that we know.
That's right. 所以通常呢，一定有一个原本的这个本片啊，然后本片拍了红了以后呢，就会出现有续集叫 sequel。那后来有时候拍一拍续集，他又跑来拍 prequel 前传。好，所以呢，这两个字你可以一起把它学起来。
You know the word series? S-E-R-I-E-S. Series 是一直连续。
影集。
Right. But a series of something means it's something that 一直是连续, but it's moving forward.
That's right.
S-E means to go the next step.
一直往下。
Yeah, and P-R-E, pre, means before.
P-R-E 这个字首则是指之前的意思。前。
Right, so just remember, prequel, before, sequel, after. And that's all the time we have today. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
第10页，影视娱乐，时尚恶女库伊拉。
Cruella. Originally planned for release in late 2020, the Disney film Cruella will finally hit theaters this month. The film will explore the background of one of Disney's most famous villains, Cruella Deville. The character, whose name is similar to Cruel Devil, first appeared in a 1956 children's novel named The 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith. In 1961, the story was adapted into an animated film by Walt Disney Studios, and later, in 1996, into a live-action film with Glenn Close starring as Cruella. The well-known Disney villain is a rich, heartless woman who is obsessed with animal fur products. After discovering a large litter of Dalmatian puppies in her city, Cruella becomes obsessed with capturing the dogs to create a coat of Dalmatian fur. In the new film, set in London in the 1970s, the character is played by actress Emma Stone, who begins the story as Estella Deville. As the story develops, audiences will learn how a talented young woman becomes a villainess in the world of high fashion. Fans of the original story and the live-action films won't want to miss this exciting prequel. Find out how Estella became the dog-nabbing criminal known as Cruella.